Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to Dramatic Budgets. If this is your first time here, then my name's Lisa and I am on a debt-free and hopefully savings journey to get rid of what started out as just under £11,000 worth of debt. If you have been with me before, then thank you so much for coming back and joining me for another video. So guys, this is my 500 subscriber celebratory Q&A video that I have been promising for quite a while, and obviously I've been putting it off due to illness and a few other things that have been going on. So I've actually got an evening to myself. I'm at home when it's just me and the pooch tonight, so I thought, do you know what, let's get it done. It is probably one of the most nerve-wracking videos that I have done since the first video, and I guess that's because this video will essentially just be me sort of having a chat to you guys rather than me actually busying myself doing stuff. So I have got this lovely bunch of daffodils on my desk at the minute, which is what you can see here, so I'm just going to push those out of the way. I have got a list of, I think, about 8 questions to go through, so that have been sent to me by 4 lovely subscribers. So I will kind of go through those questions, but I thought I would just kind of go back to basics and just tell you a little bit more about me, I guess, because I'm not sure I ever did that in my first video. I think I just kind of like scraped the surface a little bit when I've discussed it. So hence I've got my lovely big pint of tea. It is freezing outside. I am filming this on Wednesday evening. Are we on Wednesday? Yes, on Wednesday evening. It has snowed today, but not settled really here. But it is forecast to really snow tomorrow. So yeah, the highest temperature I think we've had today is about 2 degrees. It was -2 when I went to work this morning, and about 1 degree when I came home. So it is really bitterly cold out there, so I am keeping myself warm. So me, for those of you that don't know me, or are new to my channel, I am a single income household, so I live on my own with my dog. I do have a partner, but he and I don't live together. We're very happy sort of staying apart, living in our own places at the moment. That may change in the future, who knows, but you know, that is not a problem. I am 38, which is sort of erring on the sort of the wrong side of my 30s now, which is really weird because I have never really had a problem with age before, and all of a sudden I got a text off my friend's husband to remind me that she's 40 this year, as she's the year older than me, and it kind of really freaked me out. So yeah, I'm starting to come to terms with the fact that I am, you know, very quickly running out of 30 years. So I work at the local hospital as a pharmacy technician. So I do earn a decent wage. I do not class myself as a low income person, because I am aware that I'm lucky working for the NHS that I do get a pretty decent wage in comparison to, you know, sort of a lot of people may. So I do realise that I am very lucky in that way. I do have debts. As I've sort of said, I started out with just under £11,000 worth of debt over 5 debts. That's now 4, which is great. And I think that's probably as much as I should really go into. Yeah, I am on my own, so obviously I am the person that is doing all of the shopping and, you know, paying all of the bills. I do own my own home with a mortgage. I was very lucky in that I had fantastic godparents that loaned me the deposit for my house, which is why some people may get confused when I say that I've never ever saved any money in my life before, and that's because I never did manage to save a deposit. I was very, very lucky in that respect. I've lived in this house now, it will be 8 years in the summer, which has gone really, really quickly, if I'm honest. The years really do sort of fly without you sort of realising. But yeah, I started my budgeting journey in November of 2021. And that was because I saw a Tyler video of She's on a Budget. And it's the first time I'd ever come across the phrase cash stuffing or cash budgeting. I had absolutely no idea what it was even about. And through that, I then started looking on YouTube at her channel and a few other different people's channels, and sort of started to kind of half-heartedly do it. I did start cash stuffing at that point, but because I hadn't started this channel and I was just doing it to me and I wasn't really telling anybody about it, I found that I wasn't really doing much saving. Certainly didn't have anything in any of my sinking funds, because I found it very easy to lie to myself, which is one of the reasons that I decided I was looking at starting this channel, and I spoke to the wonderful Katie at My Future Budget Life, and she was the one that sort of said, no, go for it, just sit down with the camera, do it, I'll watch it, you know, and just see how you get on. And that is how this channel started. Anybody that's been with me since the beginning will know that I started off with nothing in my sinking funds. I managed to get a bit of an emergency fund together so that when I did have an issue with my boiler at Christmas, I could use the money that I'd got in savings challenges and you know, house bits and my emergency fund to pay that off, whereas before it would have just completely gone on credit cards. So I am just going to go through this little list of questions. I have literally just written them down and kind of put them to one side because I kind of didn't want to have rehearsed answers, if you know what I mean, which is why this is probably going to be a bit of a bitty video, but I apologise. So so the first question was from Mama Saves on Instagram, and it was, who is your fave budgeter and why? And that is a really difficult question, because I think it would be a bit like choosing which is your favourite child. Not that I have any children. Because I have got quite a few budgeters that I have watched since the beginning of my cash budgeting journey. The likes of She's on a Budget, Pinching the Pennies, Sunshine Budgets, James Budget Life, Budget with Ira, that I've watched really since now for sort of a year and a half, right since the beginning, and then lots of other ones that have come in from that have given me a lot of support. So My Future Budget Life, Scottish Mama Budgets, to name a couple. They are ones that have kind of spoken to me. There's lots and lots of budgeters that I talk to, and it's just very difficult to pick a favourite, and that sounds like I'm sort of ducking out on it. One of my favourites is Katie at My Future Budget Life, because of the fact that I feel like she's in a similar situation to what I am. So she's a single income household. She does have debts around about the same amount as me, and unlike me, she is working a lot of different jobs to help fund her day-to-day life and the things that she wants. And so I think she is probably one of my favourites because I watch so many budgeters that are, have partners and have children. And I found it very difficult when I first started watching YouTube videos because some of the budgets just didn't sort of resonate with me because their lives were so different to mine. They were either a single parent, so they had children to sort of look after and pay for, or they had a partner that would help towards bills. And I really struggled to kind of work out how the budgeting would work for me because all the videos that I tended to see were not single income. The other one I realise I haven't mentioned is the lovely Jules, who is now Scottish Highlander on a budget, because she is in a very similar situation to me. She lives on her own with a dog, has a partner but doesn't live together, and watching her and Katie kind of gave me an idea of where my budget should actually be, mainly because I was just struggling to get my head around a budget. And I do tell people not to look at other people's budgets and compare, but it's very easy to do that, and I was sort of almost doing that with people that had multiple children to fund, partners and things like that. And so I needed to find somebody that was on a single income household budget, in order to kind of help me understand how a budget works and what it could do for me. So my favourite one is probably from that is going to be Katie at My Future Budget Life, just because she was the one that helped me get my head around a budget in the first place. So the second question I've got is from Speaking of Artistry, I think it is. How did you get into debt? Oh, how did I not? So I did go to university. I didn't complete my university degree. I actually went to university to do a drama degree, and I left after a year and a term. There was a lot of things going on and I just needed to come back. I did pick a university that was in the middle of nowhere, and it took about 3 hours, even on a train. In fact, it was 5 hours on a train, about 4 hours in the car, and I didn't drive back then. So I made the decision along with my partner at the time and my mum, that I needed to come home and see what direction life took me in. Because of that, I took out my first credit card, and the credit card debt, or a lot of the credit card debt that I currently have, is still the same credit card debt that I have from that very first card. I essentially just kept paying and paying and paying, and then eventually I sort of just jumped it to a new credit card with a 0% balance, and it's just kind of never really gone down. So the main bit of my debt is from that. The second bit of my debt is obviously my car loan, because I have never ever been in a position where I could actually just go out and buy a car, because, as I say, I've never saved any money. So what I've always done is, a car to me is more of a necessity than a want. I'm not a car person. I'm not even really a driving person. A car to me just gets me from A to B when I want. And it gives me that freedom and that independence. So cars have never really bothered me. So I always get a car, and then I literally keep it until it starts costing me money. So I did write my first car off in an accident, and then every car since, I have literally had it for the length of the loan period, which is 5 years plus some more, when things started to go wrong with it. The second car I had needed £1,000 part, so I part X'd it, and got my the last car that I had before this one, and again that was going to cost me sort of like £500-600 to fix, and so I went and just bought a new car because it was actually cheaper for me to just part X my car and give a deposit than it would have been to fix the car. And then my current car I've had now for, I think it's 4 years next month, because I've got just over a year left on my car loan. So that's where my second debts come from. And then the rest of my debts, as you will know if you've watched my debt updates and debt confessions, is from my catalogues. So I had a Very account and a Freeman's account, and I always used to be really good with it. I was really good with it, and I would pay off so much a month so that I didn't really have much on it. And then last summer came and I was going on holiday, and it was a holiday I should have gone on with my partner as our very first holiday in 2020. So I just decided I was just going to buy loads of clothes to go away with, and I am still paying those off. So that is essentially where my debt has come from. So it's credit card, of which I now have 2, my car loan, and obviously my catalogues. So that's my debt. I obviously do have debt in the house, but I class that as an asset rather than a debt. So I'll be happy if I can pay all those other debts off and just have my mortgage payment. So, Nana Saves, who inspires you to save? Oh, see, that again is a difficult question, because I watched a lot of different budgeters, as I think a lot of us do, and they all save different amounts in different ways, and all of them inspire me in a very small way, especially those that have got Etsy shops, because I not only sort of see the savings challenges, for example, that they put out, but on their videos I tend to watch them doing those savings challenges. She's on a Budget does inspire me in a lot of ways, in that she has now managed to go from one end of the scale to another, and she is able to cash stuff a lot of money every week, and I would love to do that, but it's just not going to be possible for me to ever, I think, be able to stuff what she does. But I do love watching a lot of the different budgeters. So Brown Skin Girl, her saving challenge game is massively high. I get really nervous and really anxious over my savings challenges, and I can't have too many on the go at once because my brain just cannot deal with it, which if you've watched me since Christmas, you'll know I kind of realised very quickly that I had completely gone overboard with my plan for my savings challenges, and I've had to kind of cut it back a little bit. So I think all the budgeters on YouTube in some way inspire me, and I would like to think that we all inspire each other in a very small way, just because it's lovely to actually see people doing so well and paying, hitting their goals, whether that be sort of to pay off their debts, to save towards a big thing, either a holiday or, technology or whatever that may be. So I don't have a particular one that inspires me. She's on a Budget has inspired me to start budgeting in the first place. My Fuchsia Budget Life inspired me to start this channel, so I suppose those two are probably my main ones, but yeah, I think they all inspire me a little bit, and as I watch the videos, a lot of the time I will come up with a little thing and I'll think, I'd never thought about it that way. I could try and incorporate that at some point into my budget. So yeah, I think inspiration comes from everybody on that I watch on YouTube, and I just love to watch everybody and see what they're doing, to see if I can pinch that idea and see if it helps me. So yeah, that is that. And then the last questions, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of them. She was very good with the questions. Is from Chelsea Watson. So what got you into budgeting is the first question, and I think I've probably answered it slightly. But the main reason that I got into budgeting is because I saw that video of how cash stuffing works, and it was almost a bit like a light bulb went off in my head. And I realised that I needed to do something, because I was in my, I'm in my late 30s. Apart from the fact that I own a house and a car, I don't really have anything to show for my 30 odd years in life. It's one of those that I don't have savings, I don't have investments. I was not drowning in debt, but drowning in like payments for, direct debits and things. And it was one of the first things that I did. It was literally actually look at my bank account and look at what was going out of my account every month regularly. And some of them I was like, what am I paying for here? And I think that's the problem, is that you kind of set these direct debits up and then you kind of forget about them, and you don't tend to think about how much you're paying, and especially when things go up every year with interest. But that was what got me into budgeting, because I just figured that it might be something I could at least try, and see where it got me, because quite frankly, I was drowning in the fact that my other half is very good at saving. He's very good at budgeting. He doesn't cash budget, but he's the one that has been able to pay off our holiday out of his savings account, and I'm just paying him back every month. I would never be able to do that, which is why I kind of started it, because I wanted to be able to be that person that could sort of say, this money that I've got put aside here is for this, so that when anything came up, oh yeah, want to book a holiday, there's the money. Oh God, my boiler needs fixing, it's fine, I've got this here. So that is why I got into budgeting. The next question is, what are your financial goals for the next year? I have actually answered this on, I think I did a video on it actually, 2023 goals, and I've actually got it here. So this is so my financial goals for the next year are these. So I want to start a week 5 envelope. That hasn't happened yet, but that was mainly because January and February have both been 5-week months. So it's been a little bit difficult, mainly so that I've got that extra week's wallet money, instead of having to put it into my budget. Pay off catalogues. I'm halfway there. I've managed to pay the very one off. I'm just need to get the Freemans off now, and that's going down nicely. Have a £500 emergency fund. This one was scuppered a little bit because after I wrote this, I obviously had the issue with my boiler and I had to empty my emergency fund. It's back up to £55 at the moment, which doesn't seem like a lot, but to me it is. So we are on our way to that one. Complete 10 savings challenges. We're not going to worry about that. I'm nicely on my way with my yearly one, and with my penny and everything, so I'm not worrying about that. Having a Germany kitty envelope. Again, I haven't started that yet, but I want to kind of concentrate on the sinking funds that I've had for a little while, so that I can try and have those up before I start worrying about kitty money. If needs be, I can use my holiday envelope for that, so that's fine. And no credit card use, which I was doing really well at until my Kindle payment went out of my credit card instead of my normal bank account. So yeah, which technically I didn't ask them to use my credit card, so I am not taking that one as I've used it. Take that as you will. So, what are your financial goals for the next 5 years? To be debt free. So my just going to have a quick look actually, because my debt-free date at the moment is 2027. So we are in 23, aren't we? 24, 25, 26, 27, which is 4 years. So it's doable. It's doable. I want to be, in the next 5 years, I want to not have a car loan. I don't want any catalogue debt. And I'd love to have paid off my credit cards, and so be, you know, sort of consumer debt free and credit card debt free. I would also have liked, because I'm getting rid of those debts, to then use that money that I would have paid towards debt every month to put to one side, so that the next time I do need to buy a car, I can obviously pay the whole lot off at once, or at least have a very large deposit in which to put towards, so that the finance that I may need to take out is much smaller and over a much less time period. I've always had a 5-year car loan because of the amount of money that I could afford to pay out every month. You know, I'd love to be able to do it where maybe I only had maybe 1 or 2 years, 3 years maximum. So yeah, that's my main goal, is to get rid of my debt. I think it's doable, because my debt-free date at the moment is 2027. So it is completely doable. So yeah, that is my big one, is to just get rid of my debts, and then from that have enough money put to one side so that I could buy a car if I needed it. You know, or a laptop if I needed it, because mine's so old I don't use it anymore, because of that, you know, things like that. So just be able to be comfortable enough to be able to put the money to one side so that I actually could afford things. Yeah, so that's my one for the next 5 years. And then the next two is, what do you like most about budgeting and what do you like least about budgeting? What I like most about budgeting is the actual visual of seeing what it is that I'm doing, if that makes sense. So I never realised until I started this journey just how bad contactless and chip and pin payments were. I obviously am old enough that I remember having to actually sign. You know, you'd give your card. You would give your card over to the cashier. You would have to sign a piece of paper, hand it back, and they would actually stand there and check that your signature matched what was on the back of the card. You know, I remember chip and pin coming in, and obviously contactless. I hated the idea of contactless when I started. I thought it was so dangerous. It is dangerous, just not in the way that I was anticipating it to be dangerous. I much prefer having the money, because I can open my purse and go, yeah, okay, I can afford that, or no, I can't afford that. And being able to see that sinking fund update at the end of the month, I absolutely love doing, because I just love having, it's not paper anymore, it's plastic, but I just love that feel of having the money in your hand, and knowing that that's yours, and you've kind of built that up. It far outweighs that whole digital thing. I can't do digital. I do digital saving, because I don't want lots and lots of money in my house. So I tend to condense down and put things into the bank, so that's fine. But yeah, the thing I like the most about budgeting is actually being able to feel and see what I've actually saved, and how easy I seem to be finding it to work towards each goal. It's been so much easier since I started this channel and stopped lying to myself. You know, and I've kind of, yeah, it's almost one of those moments where you're kind of kicking yourself, because you think, why did I not start this earlier? I wish I'd found cash budgeting earlier. I worked the whole way through the pandemic, but wasn't allowed to go anywhere. And I had all this extra money that I just wasted. I bought stuff on Amazon and ordered takeaways and just silly things. you know, and I just kind of kick myself now because I think all that money that I wasn't spending during lockdowns, I could have done so much with that if I'd been cash budgeting and cash stuffing at that time. But yeah, that is my favourite thing, is the actual feeling and seeing the savings build up. I hope that makes sense. The last question is, what do you like least about budgeting? It's a weird one in that I don't really dislike anything about budgeting. I kind of dislike the fact that I am so bad with money that I have to budget. Like I say, I never budgeted. I'd never come up with a budget in my life. One of my friends that I went to university with, that I still speak to now, and I laughed at her at university because she was an accountancy student, and she had a little bulldog clip that she had hung on the wall of her room with all of the receipts that she had from throughout the week and month. And I once said to her, what on earth is that about? And she was like, oh, well, it's so that I can check it against my bank statement at the end of the month and make sure that there's nothing out, you know, I'm not spending anything that I don't realise. And I just went, okay, that's a bit weird. It's not weird. It turns out she was absolutely bloody brilliant, because even as a teenager, you know, like late teens, early 20s, she was good with money, and she was making sure that her money worked for her. I worked for my money, and I'd spent my money and didn't really understand, I mean, what I'd spent it on most of the time. So it's not that I dislike anything particularly about budgeting. I dislike the fact that I have to budget in order to make sure I have enough money for the entire month. And that's the only thing I dislike about it, is the fact that I actually have to do it. And I do have to do it. I've learned that in the last couple of years, that without budgeting, I am sinking fast and I am drowning in things, because I don't know when. Before, I would never have been able to tell you when my direct debit was due. Not a clue. And it's the one reason that I had pretty much every direct debit I have, I always have it going out on payday or as soon after. I don't like ones going out in the middle of the month. The ones that go out in the middle of the month, the ones I can't change the dates for. So yeah, that just sort of says everything. So that is it. And I've realised I've been waffling on now for half an hour. So thank you if you are still watching this video. Thank you if you are subscribed to my channel. I started this channel and put my first video out on the 26th of July last year, 2022. And to have over 500 subscribers, you know, within sort of 6 months, just is absolutely amazing, and more than I could ever have kind of dreamed of or hoped for. I really just decided to do the channel because I thought, well, if I'm putting it down on video, I won't lie to myself, and if there's the odd person that watches me along the way, that's great. The fact that there's 500 of you supporting me, commenting, liking my videos, just is absolutely fabulous, and I just can't thank you enough. I do have I have found some budgeting friends through this, people that I can, you know, contact if I need advice or help with anything budgeting related or life related, really. And that is what's fantastic about this community, is that everybody is so supportive and we build each other up as much as we possibly can. You know, and to say that people do that when they don't know who I am, they don't know what I look like or where I live or really much about my life, except for the things that I sort of put forward on this video. And it really just does amaze me, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. So all I can say is thank you so much if you've been here since the beginning, or if you only joined my channel last week, or even for this video, thank you so much, because your support spurs me on to keep doing this. And every time I kind of think, oh God, I've got to go on video and basically tell people that I have just spent on rubbish, and I have overspent, and I've got no money left, and I'm gonna have to pull out of my savings. And then I actually get on camera, and I love filming these videos. I get really nervous every time one goes out, and then I love it when people start commenting, especially when they come up with a supportive comment. And it's just lovely when you get a comment to say, you know, you're doing really well, you know, well done on that thing that you managed, or, you know, don't worry too much, you can do it next month. And it just kind of, when there is so much bad in the world, and where every time you go onto social media and the news and everything else, and it's all about doom and gloom, and everything's going up, and cost of living crisis, and unemployment, you know, and sort of, you know, debt and things like that. It is just really nice to have that side where it's not all doom and gloom. And even when it is doom and gloom, you have people just kind of supporting you and egging you on, and just trying to be there as much as they can and help you out. So yeah, thank you guys. Again, I am going to stop waffling on at you now. If you haven't subscribed and you would like to, then you know what to do. Press the subscribe button. There is obviously a like button if you liked this video, and if you would like to comment, I would love to hear from you. Thank you guys, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I shall see you very soon. Bye.